Yeah, I have a bit longer journey than yours. Well, my journey began as a teacher when I was 21 years old. I was in University of Pittsburgh and a teaching assistant in Department of Mathematics. And this was regarding application of statistics, or rather computational techniques and data analytics techniques, informatics techniques in material science. And there I was in panel discussion, and I made some big statements of teaching statistics to metallurgists and some pedagogy, this and that, some big things I talk, because in panel discussion you talk big things. You don't think what is going to happen in future. So I did talk. I didn't know Professor Guru Rajan was sitting there in the audience. So he came forward and said that, would you like to come to IIT? I said, I'm already in IIT, because my husband was already in, he's a alumnus of metallurgy department, but he's currently in mechanical engineering. So I said, I'm staying on campus. So I gave a lecture, and Professor Guru Rajan gave me a proposal that, can you join the hands so that we can teach the course on data analysis and interpretation to the undergraduates. And if you have any course to offer to the postgraduate, you can do that.
So I grew up in a village in Tamil Nadu, and I studied in government schools till higher secondary, that is +2. And being Tamil Nadu, there was no Hindi, and everything was in Tamil medium. Since my parents wanted me to do engineering, and I, not just after +2, but even afterwards, I have never cleared a competitive exam. Okay, so but my interest was not in engineering. My interest was not even in science. I wanted to do either literature or philosophy, because that is the books we had at home. You know, everybody studied literature, anthropology, history, economics. And then one of my master's teachers from the university where I was, he told me there are no questions. If you're getting in IISc, it doesn't matter which department, you should go join that department. Okay? And because of my own background and my own interests and the way things are arranged, I have been teaching mostly computational and mathematics courses.
So college was when in 1975 till 1979. Yes, I can recall a few things.
I was not even in school at that time.
We had a course, a small course on statistics, and that attracted me because mathematics is a subject that still interests me. But statistics takes you close to the numbers and data and making sense out of it. So I found it more practical. And of course, there was one thing that we learned is to laugh away. So we had tough times with some professors. Sometimes we just don't get along.
So, for me, I already told you one thing that I have learned. You say you don't like something, it's going to come back to you. Okay. You think that, okay, this is the last time I'm seeing this, I'm done with this course and I don't want to look at it, and life has a way of bringing the same thing to you. Okay. So one thing that I have learned is that, never say that this is the last, I don't want to see this. In all probability, it is going to come back to you. So that was first lesson. For example, I mean, I'm not a great fan of statistics itself.
And there you are.
I can't escape now. I liked algebra, calculus better than I did the statistics, but my primary interest is in molecular dynamics, dislocation dynamics, phase field modeling, and and things like that, where we are actually writing an ordinary or partial differential equation and we are solving them on the computer. So taking the problem, understanding what is happening in terms of the physics and chemistry, turning into a mathematical problem. Mathematization is the first step, we call it formulation. And in some cases, it is well known. For dislocation dynamics or molecular dynamics, we know what the equations are. Those are Newton's laws basically, and we have to solve them for different conditions on the computer. So it cannot be done with pen and paper. So we use a computer, and we use a computer means we have to write a program to solve these problems. So that is what we are interested in. So there are 4 things that I typically ask them to do. One is that data should be read from files, no keyboard input. Data should be written to files. Now, typically people have a tendency of printing to the screen. That's of no use. And you should use a dynamic memory allocation. Typically students are taught to write program. They will have an array of 5 and they will declare an array of 100. And it is unnecessary burden. I keep telling them, it's like going for a hike and then take everything in your room, put it on your backpack and go. That's not how it works, right? You need only things that are exactly required. So dynamic memory allocation is very important. And then students are taught C++, they are taught about pointers, and there is so much of complications about pointers that they are taught. We only need a single pointer irrespective of the dimension of the array. N-dimensional array should also be referred to using a single pointer. These are the only 4 things that are needed. I don't even worry too much about object oriented, etc. We write very clunky programs. As long as they solve our problems, we are happy. We are really not computer scientists that way. So these are the skills that you need. And so to skill yourself in this, what I expect students to do is to take numerical methods textbook, like Gerald and Wheatley, for example, and look at all the algorithms and implement them in C, which meets these requirements. That the data is read to and written into files, and you have dynamic memory allocation, and you have single pointer arrays for everything. You might be solving a Gauss Seidel, but it should be single pointer for the matrix A, single pointer for the vector X, and single pointer for the vector B.
I think I am past all that. My current interest is to bring statistics to our industry, particularly metallurgical industry. I find that world over, in most of the developed countries, they are using statistics very extensively, very fruitfully, to improve their productivity, their quality. But I find that somewhat missing in India. And so my effort nowadays has been that if I can interact with some industry, and if they open up, and if I can communicate through them through data, and if I can help them realize that understanding data is not wasting your time and effort. It may hamper your production for a while, but it eventually is going to give you good results. So that is what I am looking for. For such things, I do take. I cannot directly take any student, but then guru comes forward, other faculty also come forward, and I become a co-guide, and we take the data from the industry. We keep interacting with industry and try to make a sense out of the data and tell them. Sometimes we have also said that your data is not as good as you think. There is a lot of human error in it, or the data is not collected in the frequency that it should have been. But that's also a learning point, because all data do not come out correct, and how to collect the data itself is a subject. So this is what is my current interest. So if anyone is interested, they can come forward